Okay, where's the camera? Yeah, that's the camera. Boys. All right, folks. I do not know what the problem is. There should be a camera here. It's not showing up. Um, there we go. Okay, finally, I'm. This is just how this stuff works. Oh, let's see what we got. I got to get a YouTube link here. So, there we go. All right. So bear with me, folks. I can't figure out how to get a link from YouTube on this until after I actually start going live. So please bear with me. Um, there's my link. Okay. So it looks like we've got a couple of people here already. Awesome. Glad to see it. Oh, how's everyone doing this lovely Friday? Friday. The greatest day of the week. Hey, Sarah, how you doing? Glad you can make it. Um, why is chat not feeding up? It should be doing that. I need to figure out what I did wrong here. What do we got? Okay. There we go. That's what we got. We're gonna put everything up there because hey, it makes me feel warm and tingly. Sarah, how you doing today? What else we got? What else we got? Oh man, what a week. I'm not gonna lie, I am exhausted. Job. Think you got a job? Great, that's fantastic. I am so glad to hear that. I know you just got laid off not that long ago, but it's always better when you can think you can pick when you can kind of hit the ground running a little bit. I am good. For the record, I am tired, and I've got my week isn't over yet. I'm doing this time tomorrow. I'll be doing an interview for my Sunday video, so I've got a long week ahead of me still. Not going to have a lot of downtime, but that's okay because I love what I do, and I do it for you guys. Uh, yeah, I would imagine you are great. you know, I've been there where you're out of work and then you think you get something. That is big, big. Oh man, what's this we got? So I'm playing around with some stuff on the back end here. Hey, I appreciate your willingness to join, Sarah. If when you can, great. You will be more than welcome. And you know, if that takes a little while, no big deal. I understand. I've been there. I've been there more times than I care to count. So I get it. I get it. Oh, what we got? All right. I was probably telling me food's going to be here. Um, yeah, looks like it. We ordered food and it's coming with DoorDash. And of course, my family knows what I was doing today, and we had still dragged our ass until food's not going to get here until now. It's actually getting here now, but that's fine. I'm not really hungry. I ate a big lunch, so oh, yep. Sounds like food's here. I can hear my wife talking outside, and she doesn't go outside if she can help it at all. In fairness, this is South Georgia, and it's hot. It is hot and steamy. Oh, let's see. Who is Twitch Kick promoter? Oh, well. I have no idea who this Twitch Kick promoter is. Um, but he or she or whoever liked my post about, uh, about my live stream. Why? I have no idea. I got garlic parm wings and some fries. The rest of the family's doing pizza. I'm just kind of pizzaed out. Got a really good pizza place though. The owner's originally from New Jersey. Used to basically make some New York style pizza, and when they get it right, they get it right. When they don't get it wrong, right though, it's the funny thing is it's basically gas station pizza. Um, yeah, I know the fat electrician on this Fat Files did a thing about Casey's Pizza, which is basically gas station pizza, but it's kind of a similar thing in a way. They used to have a standalone store, but that just didn't really take off. And I'm kind of rambling a little bit, so apologize for that. But like I said, I wasn't really pizzaed in, but I've been wanting to do the wings and garlic parm wings. God, those are good. I haven't had theirs, so we'll see how those go. Um, so some people, you know, some people get garlic parm wings just right. Some people have way too much garlic, and some people think garlic is not really applicable. Yeah, yeah. It really depends on the pizza. Um, my editor Cam Edwards, where he lives, they actually had really good gas station sushi. And you know the meme, I trust this like I trust gas station sushi. But his town, there that gas station sushi is kind of legendary. I'll stick with my gas station pizza. I trust pizza better than sushi. Of course, I'm not a big sushi fan, so but sushi's great if it's cooked right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, old joke. Sorry, couldn't resist. Um, who just what was that? I got my phone on the desk and it's like telling me shit. Uh, oh wow, YouTube's now telling me I'm live on my own channel. Jesus. Yes, YouTube, that is exactly what I needed to hear from you. I swear to all that is holy, YouTube is gas station sushi. Generally, that is a good rule to live by. You trust gas station sushi like Mexican tap water, but yeah, this time apparently their gas station sushi was actually pretty good. Luckily, it's not gas station sushi anymore. Bear with me. My chair's got like a leg rest thing. And I need that right now. This gas station sushi's now moved out of the gas station, thankfully. So it's a little more trustworthy for most people. But Cam absolutely swears it was good sushi. Yeah. YouTube is the big channel. It's the big platform for video of any kind. And it's really kind of the primary focus, but it's not perfect. It's not. It is less than spectacular sometimes. Live stream's really not what they're built for, I guess. And so, whatever. Oh, holy crap. I have 99 videos. I wonder if this will count as 100. Yeah, whatever. Wonder if I should do something special for 100. Yeah. Oh, no, this doesn't count shorts and shit, too, I guess. Let's see, 78. How many shorts? I used to do shorts all the time, and I just haven't done one in forever. You know, my thinking was that, when I first started, I was like, shorts are probably kind of a smart thing to do because I can build a channel and I can still do long form. But I was doing a short a day, and it was just, it was a lot on top of long form. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let's see. Got some Rumble, got some YouTubes. Yeah, let's see. Oh, great. Now I'm getting like likes and shit from VTuber artists. Nothing against VTubers, just not my jam. Not my bag, baby. Terrible Austin Powers. God, I expected more out of myself. Okay. What we got here? What do we want to get into? Do I want to start talking about Israel and Iran throwing shit at each other? Good. Do I want to do? I'm going to talk about it. I just don't know if I want to talk about it now. Can I clip my long form to make sure? Probably. I'm not sure how. I've got some tools that supposedly do it. I just haven't liked how they've done it automatically. But I may be playing around with that some, in part because the editing software I use now, I'm about to ditch it because it's being, freaking retarded. All right, it's a fairly cost effective premium version, right? It's not super expensive. But every time they upgrade, you got to pay again, which, okay, I don't actually have to upgrade. But now they're wanting me to have to pay for, hold on. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. I am live streaming.
I know. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Oh, what do we got here? With Maplewood spirals. Okay. Father's Day. By the way, if you guys have this stuff, I haven't had this one. I will hear shortly, apparently, because he brought my Glencairn. But this is actually bottled like 45 minutes from my house. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome.
And it's really, really good. Would I pull more watchers if I looked like an anime girl? Probably. But I'm from the days of the internet, when you would get that, when you get that stigma where every girl you talk to on the internet was probably a dude. Matt, you haven't really missed much. I've been just kind of dicking around for the last little bit. And you're not that late. I just kicked off at 6, so you're only a couple of minutes. I'm just glad you're here, brother. So I guess since my oldest has splurged for me, it would be irresponsible of me not to pop into this, because hey, ooh, it's 113 proof too. I think that's what it said. Yeah, 113. Got Maplewood spirals. Can't really base it off this first pour though, because the neck pour. Yeah, I bet. Air travel over that part of the world is probably not a great idea. But on the same token, man, that Israeli strike is, I mean, it's like it's a lot like what the Ukrainians did. That whole, hey, let's put a bunch of drones, sneak them in close, and then let them take off and blow the holy shit out of their enemy. Why the hell are we paying for strategic bombers anymore? I mean, yeah, we've still got the buff and it's terrifying, but any third rate power can do some funky shit if they can just be sneaky enough. Yeah, by the way, I'm one of those guys when it comes to my bourbon. Um, mm, ooh, hmm, that's good. That is really good. Um, I like it when my family gives me booze for holidays, especially having 21-year-old kids. Yes, yes, having 21-year-old kids who are over 21 who can buy you alcohol is amazing. I'm like, I remember when I had to have my parents buy me alcohol, and now I have my kids buying it for me. See, my parents were actually pretty cool because for the alcohol I had for my senior prom, my dad bought me. My dad, the cop. Uh, um, I have no idea. Okay, well, I'm I'm announcing that I'm live, and I've got weird people liking it, but they're not people who are ever going to come on the stream. So, whatever. But yeah, that the drone strike struck me as wild, especially Musa like snuck in and set that shit up inside of Iran. And they just launched it and blew the shit. Now Iran's like, oh, and they're freaking launching missiles. And I don't know how much damage. I was looking at some stuff earlier. Okay, so jets were also involved in Israel, so that's cool. 78 dead in Iran, 230 or 320 injured. Um, 100 Iran fired 100 missiles, fewer than 100 missiles, and most were intercepted or fell short. Big shock. Um, uh, 2 people critically injured, 8 moderately, and 34 slightly. Considering you're doing that in exchange for 78 dead in a nuclear program in shambles, it sucks for those people who are hurt, but I mean, damn, it's a good trade. You know, it's good trade. It's a fair trade. Um, yeah, is there anything else here? Of course, Trump said he knew everything. There are some people who are doubting it, but they're people who have Trump derangement syndrome, so screw what they think. That's got some punch to it. It really does. I was actually going to start with something lower proof tonight if I drank at all. Um, oh well, what am I going to do? What do you? All right, you guys. What are you thinking about the whole thing? Because I know some people are like, "Oh my God, here's World War III," and I'm sitting here going, "How?" Because Iran can't project power enough to spark that off. Um, did I watch? Do I watch Speak the Truth? No, I've seen it. I just haven't gotten into watching it. I need to check it out, but I haven't done it yet. Uh, I think you sent me. You mentioned them to me before. I don't think you actually asked if I watched them, but let me see something real quick. Speak the truth. Oh, they had a stream earlier about it. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah, much geopolitics, which is dope. It's got a place to go. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out later. Definitely have to check them. This looks familiar to me. Rob Turkle. I'll have to check it. Two of his lives. He had two lives today. I honest to God, I didn't even notice. Oh yeah, yeah. The first one would have been 6 hours ago. So yeah, uh, looks like that one was, you know, kind of a follow up on the bombing, and then another one. So he's streaming twice a day. Well, he's streaming. Looks like he's streaming as needed. So dope. That's if he can do it, man, more power to him. I wouldn't mind being in a position to do that. I really wouldn't. But I've got just too much other work going on. Um, God, it'd be awesome to do that. Oh, instead, I just shit post on Twitter. Yeah, the other one was about 3 hours ago. It looks like he's definitely putting in the work. That's for sure. Um, much respect for it, because this is fun. For the record, live streaming is a lot of fun, but it is not something you can really go into half-assed. As I learned last week, the more prep you can do, the better. Especially with what he looks like he's doing. He's having to do a lot of work really quick, and you got 6 hours, and YouTube saying 2 hours. So I think it's probably 2 hours from when it wrapped up. So if you figure that he still only had about 4 hours to completely prep for the Iran rebuttal. And that's there probably wasn't a lot. I'm kind of curious how that went. I'm gonna have to check that one out probably tomorrow morning, just because I'm legitimately curious how much of that he was doing on the fly. I mean, because you can do it. It's the thing about live stream is people don't expect you to have like a producer in your ear feeding you data, feeding you information. But you've got to be able to handle it, and it's weird just talking for that long. Really is. Oh, I don't think I want to watch his stream on my stream just yet. I want to get an idea for the vibe first. Let's see. That's something we can talk about real quick. So I talked about this guy, this dude on Wednesday. It was a guy and a woman didn't want to move. They were blocking traffic, and this black woman was like, "Hey, I got to get to work," and this dude was like, "Oh, work." So check this shit out. All right, this is the dude. Right, this is the dude. This is the footage. This is from Fox News. Like, oh no, not work. This is the same motherfucker awarded $115,000 in a settlement against the city after alleging his civil rights were violated by the NYPD at a Black Lives Matter protest. y'all, y'all, this piece of shit is knee deep in the same kind of bullshit he was 5 years ago, probably hoping he can get another fucking payday. And what I really hope is someone, how can I say this in a way that won't get a stream yanked? I hope someone aggressively adjusts his attitude, potentially with concussive maintenance efforts. Everyone grokking what I'm putting down? You know, everyone getting it? Because yeah, this pisses me off. The kicker is I'm willing to bet that this dude, Britvec, people are calling woke sideshow Bob for very good reason. Yeah, the name's Trevor Bretvik. But it looks like he's a professional protester, and I people think we can call him Casper, right? I mean, the dude is. I'm pretty sure he's whiter than me. Of course, I'm only 99%, so it's not impossible. It's not that difficult. But yeah, and he's a privileged. This is a guy who probably throws the term privilege around at other people when he is probably one of the most privileged people you're gonna find. Let's see. He doesn't have. Does he have a? Okay, that was misspelled. That's why. I'm looking on the Facebooks to see if Trevor still has a Facebook profile. And it looks like he probably deleted it, probably because he knew what the hell was coming. I wasn't gonna do it on the stream because I don't feel like doxing the little shit, but maybe mention where he works, if anywhere. Which let's be honest, he's not working. He's a professional protester. He probably, if he has a job, it's for some NGO. Get you a beer, Sarah. It's gonna be a beer night. Ooh, that went down a little wrong. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, we got to talk about this little shit stain tonight, because the fact that here he is trying to block traffic for somebody who just wants to go to go to work, earn a living, be a productive member of society, mocks her for wanting to actually do her job, get to work, put food on the table for her children. And he had the audacity to sue the NYPD over his civil rights. Oh, God, he needs some percussive attitude adjustment severely. I don't want to say I hate people. Mostly because I'm not sure those guys count as people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just absolutely fed up with people like that. We're a nation that has prospered through a work ethic. And I mean, look at Europe. They do not have a GDP like ours. And they think they're so much better because they have all this vacation time and holiday and leisure time and yada, yada, yada. And who do they turn to for innovation? Who do they turn to for production? It's, for lack of, it's us in China. And it's because we work hard. And for all the fault of the Chinese government, which which has plenty of faults, the people there know how to fucking work. And it just, then you get this dipshit that's basically, mocking somebody who just wants to work. Yeah, I get, you don't, I hate the actions too. But, you start seeing it enough, it's hard not to differentiate, or it's hard to, remind yourself these are not the same people. They're not, but it's hard to remember that sometimes. All right, so let's get another one here. This is special kind of stupid. It's Joy Behar again. We know how awesome she is.
Tanks will be rolling through the nation's capital, along with 7,000 marching soldiers to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army. There will also be no kings demonstrations around the country to protest Trump. And it happens to be his 79th birthday. What a coincidence.
Okay. Let's break this down for Joy, and I'm going to try to use small words because, well, it's Joy Behar. It is the Army's 250th birthday. This celebration was started planning during the Biden administration. The fact that the Army's birthday and Trump's birthday happen to be on the same day is, in fact, a coincidence. By definition, they have nothing to do with one another, though they might appear to be if you are, if when you were a kid you mistook the bowl of paint chips for cornflakes. Okay, that's the only way this looks like anything but a coincidence, because there's no way Trump's mother said, I am going to hold on. We're going to have sex on this day so that our child will be born on the Army's birthday. So when he becomes president later on his 79th birthday, he can have a military parade and just pretend it's about the Army. I mean, Joy, do you fucking hear yourself? Honestly. I mean, special place in hell. Hell doesn't want Joy. Okay? I mean, Jesus Christ. They have three of the most horribly named individuals on that show. Joy, Whoopi, and Sonny. Like, Jesus Christ, what was it, opposite day when they all got named? Holy shit. I mean, what a coincidence. Joy, don't try to be clever because you don't know how. You don't know how, Joy. She doesn't know how. Just plain and simple. So, oh man. Well, I appreciate that. Entertaining is what I need to be here. So, awesome. All right. We're going to watch a new video. We're going to watch one from my boy, More Pegasus. He does breakdowns of the drama shit. And I haven't watched this one yet because I wanted to watch it with you guys. But we are going to, he's talking about Hassan, and understand that Pegasus does some, he likes to engage in some hyperbole. Okay. But his stuff's entertaining as shit.
Welcome back to Absolute History in the Making. In today's video, Hassan is now being exposed for lying about the detainment at the airport. He's calling out H3H3 again, calling him a disgusting monster. He's also
That's par for the course for Hassan. I remember when Ethan was pretty based, then a shit weasel, and now the fact he's pissing off all the right people just makes me like Ethan more.
really mad at XQC for calling him out. Asmongold has also reacted to my video and is criticizing Ludwig now. Already subscribe or you got a 1v1 Frogan in a hot dog eating competition. You're cooked.
Oh my God. Anything but that, for the love of God. Not Frogan. Oh my God. I mean, I don't know where she got her name, but she looks like a Frogan, doesn't she? She really does. We all know it. All right, so what we got here?
Bell. And let's begin. Basically, a quick recap. A while back, Hassan was detained at the airport by border security. He claimed to have been detained by the US government for having differing political opinions, and he made like a big hoopla about it. He talked about silencing free speech, and all the news media wrote about it. He also claimed that it lasted 2 to 3 hours, and they asked him questions about supporting terrorists like Hamas. Now, shortly after, Destiny and
yeah, for the record, I remember when this happened. And yeah, he made a big stink. And really, most people were like, you had to deal with customs. Because based on the information anybody had, that made the most sense. And frankly, Hassan, makes up shit all the time anyways.
Dan Saltman made a timeline which showed that Hassan could not have possibly been detained that long, considering the entire ordeal from leaving the plane to him tweeting was only over an hour. So basically, he was caught in a bold-faced lie. Now, since then, last video, we talked about Hassan being kicked out of the global entry program that gives you a fast track for traveling, and you get to like skip queues and documents and shit. So one of the points stated in the email was potentially aiding and supporting terrorist organizations,
which is
or being investigated by the government in general. Now, it seems that Hassan was actually kicked out of this program months ago, and he might have still been trying to use the global entry when it was actually invalid and he just didn't check his email, which would explain why he was actually detained in the first place. Yeah, remember Hassan being detained for 99 hours over his political beliefs, aka 15 minutes? Well, months earlier, his card was revoked and he just didn't read the email. Messed up paperwork, revoked application, uses card anyways, gets stopped, and lies about the timeline. Chat, is this 1984? And then he links the email sent to Hassan by the Department of Homeland Security. Destiny and Dan think Hassan is 100% lying about his global entry DHS story.
That's because
so
he's
here
lying.
We got a Hassan fan saying, wait, so I was completely correct that Hassan was detained or questioned for his protected political speech.
No. He was detained / questioned because he had a literal fucking terrorist on his stream, a Houthi, and has offered unequivocal support for them, which is aid and comfort to the enemy.
Lol.
He was pulled aside because of his political beliefs, and you have no evidence of that whatsoever. It's complete bullshit. There's literally no evidence of this, and it's just kind of crazy to take a victory lap. It's like if I imagine that this whole thing right here, instead of being 3 images of a letter that Hassan revealed, imagine it was just a piece of fried chicken, and it would make about as much sense of like his statement there. Wait,
hey, Dan, I got a problem with that because fried chicken is awesome for anybody. These images that kind of slam Hassan, they're just great for everybody but Hassan. Slight difference there.
So I was completely correct that Hassan was detained, questioned for his protected political speech. LOL.
Yeah, he is a terrorist.
Below indicates that is the case. Nothing. Like you have nothing. You have that. This is like it's even worse for Hassan. Hassan is so fucking stupid.
And the inconsistent parts on Hassan's story, I think, are the things are why I'm confident in saying he's lying 100%. I don't even need any more facts.
Yep.
When he says when the empanada pushback happens, he's like, was it 50 minutes or 2 hours? And he's like, oh, I don't know, who gives a shit? That's like a whoa. What do you mean, who gives a shit, bro?
Right. So Destiny is basically referencing.
Yeah. Before Pegasus gets into that, That's a big thing, because if you say it's 2 hours and it's an hour or it's 40 minutes or it's 20 minutes, that's a big fucking deal. Okay? It's different if what you're relaying a funny story or an amusing anecdote and you exaggerate something for effect, right? But when you're trying to claim you were detained by federal authority because of your political beliefs, every minute of that matters. And for Hassan to sit there and pretend like, oh, it doesn't matter, is a load of horseshit. But as Sarah said, he's a terrorist simp. Him and all of his little orbiters are terrorist simps, right? Hassan is more than willing to sit there and go, 10 toes down for the Houthis or for Hamas. And dude literally was like, he thinks Hezbollah's got the coolest flag. God, that flag looks like shit. Looks like something a 12-year-old doodled. But let's get back to
a
it.
stream where Hassan was actually questioned about his story at the airport, and he kept changing it, right? He kept changing the timeline, said it wasn't actually important how long it actually was, which obviously reeks of complete bullshit. It seems like Hassan was trying to act like a political victim and wanted to act like the government was trying to silence his free speech when that was not the case at all. If you remember, he even posted after that saying that his bags were being checked at the airport, as if that's not like a routine thing that literally happens to everybody. Now, we also pointed out that even if he was detained, it would not be because of his general political opinions. It would be because of his open terrorist support, or maybe saying America deserved 9/11.
America deserved 9/11,
I'd
dude.
probably do it too.
I'm saying it.
Or maybe threatening to kill U.S. senators.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
Or even now, if something does happen, it would probably be due to the actual crimes he's committed, like recently blocking the highway,
right?
Or supporting not the peaceful parts of the protest, but actually the violent parts, including the riots or people lighting cars on fire. Keep in mind, this guy literally said that he doesn't care if somebody burns his car because it's leased and he has insurance and he's very rich, so it doesn't matter.
Even if someone were to burn my fucking leased car, like I still have insurance.
Literally out of touch, rich, champagne, socialist piece of shit. So Nux.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about privilege, right? Oh, I'm not worried about if you burn my car because I've got insurance. It's leased anyways. I'm fine. Dude, if you burn my car, I'm walking. I've got insurance, but it ain't going to buy me a whole new car. And I mean, I get most of these are Waymos, but Jesus Christ, they're freaking private property. I mean, every time I think I cannot hate Hassan more, he talks again.
Actually responded saying, "Be Hassan Piker. America deserved 9/11. Support multiple terrorist organizations. Tell your audience to kill 2 U.S. senators. FBI revokes global entry. Try to enter USA with global entry anyway. They ask questions at airport security. Cry about being detained for 2 hours," which was not even 2 hours, which was like 15 to 30 minutes. People responding, "Are you kidding? Hassan was delighted to be detained for a couple hours.
Oh, yeah,
this guy's
absolutely.
Fondest wet dream is of being the plucky rebel and living out his resistance fantasies." That is completely true, honestly. I think he's more upset that they didn't detain him longer so he could really play up his suffering.
Yeah. Oh, God. Here's the thing. When you are in a biased political talking head kind of role, that kind of shit becomes currency, becomes professional currency, right? So when someone does you like that, making a big deal out of it, really just kind of, it gives you something to hang a hat on for a little bit. Yeah, I hate he's using our oxygen too. I think he needs to carry around a plant with him everywhere to replace the oxygen as he breathes it. And he should apologize to that plant all the time for wasting the oxygen that plant works so hard to produce. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. We're still waiting on those tapes to confirm if he was lying about his interview. In my opinion, I think he was definitely lying or exaggerating some parts severely. I think Hassan is getting very close to the finding out stage of his FAFO journey. Anyways, let's move on to Hassan calling out Ethan Klein. Says that he's a disgusting, despicable, immoral monster.
Remember when Ethan fucking posted something from the Gaza Humanitarian Aid Foundation, by the way? Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. And added me the other day to be like, see, look at what your people are doing. Look at what your heroes are doing. Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Stupid fucking genocide lover. Narcissistic douchebag. Anyway, despicable. Disgusting. Immoral monster.
Jesus Christ, man, he is so mad. What the heck was that? Bro literally has steam coming out of his head like a cartoon character. And genocide lover is such an insane accusation. Keep in mind, Ethan has literally disavowed the tactics that Israel has been using. He's disavowed the Israeli government. He constantly bends over backwards to say that he supports Palestinians. The only problem Ethan has is people like you supporting the terrorist extremist side, being Hamas, obviously, and that's not a very radical of a take that, hey, I don't support terrorists, you know? Also, how are you calling Ethan a narcissistic douchebag? Ethan constantly admits he's wrong. He's even admitted he's wrong straight to your face. He cares about his employees all the time. We've seen him reimburse his employees when things go wrong, like IDubbbz's failed event. Yet you have the audacity to call him a narcissist who only cares about himself. Dude,
And all right, let's understand what Ethan was alluding to there for a second. First, yeah, Matt, I'd feel bad for the plant too. And Poison Ivy would be funny as shit. I'm not going to lie. But you know what? It looks like Ethan was like, hey, this is what you support. There's been reports of Hamas killing Palestinians who are taking aid provided by the Israelis, right? For all the claims of there's a humanitarian crisis, that there's this awful thing going on, and the Israelis are responsible. When the Israelis give them aid, they kill them. There's a Palestinian genocide going on, but it's Hamas doing it. All right, that's what he got called out on, and for that is what Hassan was going off on. Oh my God.
Hassan is never beating the Epson Home Cinema 50/50 allegations. Literally a top-of-the-line premium projector, this guy. What did Hassan go to college for, by the way? Because it seems like he's got a degree in projection. Anyways, after this, Hassan calls out XQC. Quick recap if you missed last video. Basically, XQC called out Hassan for justifying violence. Hassan was justifying lighting people's cars on fire, and XQC rightfully pointed out that that was pretty insane. He pointed out that if Hassan's Porsche was on fire or people were throwing bricks at him trying to kill him, he would in fact not be okay with it. In fact, he would cry and shit his Gucci pants, probably call it like a political attack or something like that.
This is
and
that
the
thing
fact that XQC made a better
all right, that was that thing I mentioned earlier about Hassan's car and the privilege and everything.
Political point than Hassan just kind of shows you how bad this guy is at politics. So anyways, in classic Hassan fashion, he got really mad about this. He also has this ongoing beef with XQC where he tries to pretend he's like his friend, but then he backstabs him over and over and over again, constantly taking sides against him every single time. And XQC, sorry to say, but he's kind of like a pushover in these situations. He always tries to renew friendships with Hassan and Pokimane, who shit on him constantly and both hate his guts secretly. And whenever they meet in person, they're always buddy-buddy, despite the fact that they like eat each other's throats online. So I'm very confused as to their whole relationship. But I feel like XQC has finally had enough.
The guy who's trying to make a big deal out of that, by the way, unironically, is now doing a shittier version of Asmongold, whose political coverage of Iran and Israel tensions heating up is basically looking at a defense intelligence account posting AI photos and shit. And XQC can't even do what Asmongold is doing. And what Asmongold is doing is already fucking idiotic. And I guess there's a reason why no one with no one who is a serious person considers any of these people as like reliable sources of information.
Yeah, that's right. When I want a reliable source of information, I actually go to Hassan. I go to twitch.com and go to Hassan's stream. Dude, that's like saying when I want.
Hassan wouldn't know reliable information if it jumped on his face and wiggled. Oh, well, sir, he can't keep Asmon's name out of his mouth because then he wouldn't have anything. See, Hassan's entire life mission now is to counter Asmongold, who is far more successful despite not having all of Hassan's advantages. Because we got to remember, this is Chunk Uyghur, or somebody put it, Chunk Yogurt from the Young Turks. That's his nephew, right? He's a Nepo baby, right? He has all the advantages. He had everything he needed to serve as a springboard that most people would never get. Now, did he do a good enough job to build an audience? Sure. For values of an audience. The whack job terrorist simps had to have somewhere to go, and that's where Asmon, or that's where Hassan goes. Well, Asmon, represents, common sense. But without, unless he talks about Asmon, Hassan doesn't really have anything. He's got to talk about Asmon. He's got to talk about Ethan. He's got to talk about Tectone some. He didn't have a choice.
On a glass of water, I jump into an active volcano. Not a single non-NPC individual goes to Hassan as an accurate and reliable source of information. There's only 3 reasons you would ever watch a Hassan stream. Number 1, you're a terrorist supporter. Number 2, you're an extreme far lefty, so much so that you find it justifiable to ignore every single despicable, disgusting thing that this guy does because, he supports my side. He supports LGBT, guys. The lover of Hezbollah definitely loves LGBT.
Right.
The guy who unironically said that Iran is pro-trans because they are so anti-gay that they force gay people to transition against their will. That is apparently weirdly pro-trans, apparently, according to Hassan. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Yeah, he would try to make that argument. Jesus Christ. Hassan, let's just be really, really upfront here. If you actually believe that shit, why don't you go to Iran? I mean, seriously, if all these Middle Eastern countries are so fucking amazing, go. It's like he's what, part Turkish? He shouldn't have a problem getting to that functioning in that part of the world, right? I assume he can speak Arabic. If not, it's definitely worth learning. I mean, if he's a Muslim, and I believe he is, that's the language of his faith. So, in fact, I think Muslims have to learn Arabic, but I could be wrong on that. Why is it that he doesn't go there? Maybe because he knows that his beliefs will lead this country into being a third world shithole. But since he's got his, he doesn't care. Absolutely.
For number 3, you have undergone a lobotomy procedure, and that has gone severely wrong. Also, I just got to address that point. He calls out XUC.
For the record, there is a 4th reason. There is a 4th reason that More Pegasus did not get into, and that's you lose a bet. If you lose a bet, some people will. I'll be honest. That's the worst, L I can think of taking. I saw a channel where somebody had to eat cat food because they lost a competition. Watching a Hassan stream is worse than eating the cat food.
For looking at like AI photos. Hassan, you thought video game footage from Arma 3 was a real clip.
Rip. Oof, they lit that thing up. Look at the traces.
Everyone. Much love, XQCL.
This one is literally Arma 3. It's fake. It's Arma. Oh, God damn it! I hate
That is funny. I remember that clip though.
Look
I,
at
mean,
the
I thought
mods. This is from a game. This is from a game. This was literally Arma 3.
that's
Why?
hilarious.
This is what I mean. This is what I fucking mean.
Chat,
This is what I
Chat.
mean.
guys, isn't it what this it was saying? Chat? This was right. This is pop politics dog shit.
They always, motherfuckers constantly posting fake bullshit. One of the things that you got to always look for, one of the things that you got to always look out for.
Hassan immediately trying to salvage the situation. Guys, I was just giving an example of the things you gotta look out for. Guys, watch out or you might get tricked by video game footage like me.
You know, the funny thing is if he'd actually owned up, like, well, yeah, I got played. You know, holy shit. I'd actually could respect that. But no, he immediately goes, this is the stuff you have to look out for because, you know, if he's like, yeah, because it plays you. Here's the thing. If you don't read too much into it, it doesn't fucking matter, right? Don't base opinions on fucking out of context clips.
I'm an experienced political commentator and I still get tricked by video game footage. This guy has the audacity to call out anybody over politics, bro. You can't make this shit up. It's just cinema. Keep in mind, this guy eats his own toenails and he's bodying us on, bro. You can't make this up.
Oh,
and I'm
shit,
sure
yeah.
if I looked further, I could.
Okay, first, XQC, my brother, that shit is nasty. All right. If you're into toes, that's fine. Keep it off your stream. Okay. Or at least have it on one of those streaming sites. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. Keep it off your stream, man. Nobody wants to see you biting your toenails. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably find a bunch of clips of Hassan just making these sort of mistakes, mistaking AI images for real things or fake misinformation for real things, getting things wrong over and over. Honestly, if you guys find any clips, send them over my way on Instagram. Anyways, moving on to Asmongold. Turns out Asmongold reacted to my video about Twitch. We're going to go over some quick highlights and then talk about his longer rant in the Ludwig section of the video. Here's my guess. I think he compiled every single time Hassan broke the rules and sent it to the Twitch staff. Like maybe he sent 4 gigabytes of all of Hassan's.
That's not true. There's no way it would only be 4 gigabytes.
That's fair.
It had to have been somebody else.
Then Tectone talks about how Twitch actually wants to unban him. This might be post-nut clarity for Dan.
Can I get unbanned? They
that
say,
was funny,
of
though.
course.
A woman with an OnlyFans. And it's a very simple rule. If you qualify, you're not banned. And if you're a man, you're automatically banned. And then we move on to
the big problem, unless, no, that's not true. Because if you're a cartoon, you get banned. But if you're a real girl, you don't. Because real girls are not as bad as cartoons.
All right, I'm the expert on anything Dan Clancy, so here's the simple explanation. He needs his gooning material very specific, all right? He ain't down with that animated bullshit. He needs the real thing. He needs the Alinity, the Amaranth, the Denims. He needs the cam girls, the OF girls, the ASMR streamers. And God forbid it's the extra special day. He will whip out his Hassan napkin. You know that.
Oh, God. Okay, I need a moment. Because, that was a visual I didn't fucking need. Oh, God, where's the... No. I gotta do shit in the morning. I cannot afford to get shit-faced.
Shit is the dirtiest thing on the planet. Absolutely diabolical. Can we have a moment of silence? Let us pray for the poor washing machine that has to deal with Dan's special Hassan rag. Ay, ay, ay. Then this next part, Asmon talks about the culture of people just like crying and complaining about shit.
Why the f*** you think they go on Asmongold so much? And every single time I go live...
They gave up on doing that, basically. A lot of these people gave up trying to make me look bad because they found out it didn't work. That's the problem, is every single time that somebody went and there was some big cancel campaign or there were a bunch of viral tweets and people got so mad at me, all it did is make me more money. It made me more popular. And the reason why, here's the reason why, is because the people that are going and starting this bullshit are a bunch of hysterical retards on the internet that are delusional And so when a normal person goes and watches the stream, they say, damn, I thought he was a Nazi. Why is he talking about, why is he talking about like how, like the illegal immigrants aren't our enemies? It's actually the companies that are employing them. Like, that doesn't sound like a
That's
Nazi
a fair
thing.
take,
Like,
actually.
why is he playing? Why is he saying
I
like
don't
he's
completely
friends with this
agree, but
person
I
that's
get
a
it.
different skin color? But why? I thought he hated black people. Why is he watching a video of a black person and saying that they're right? What is this? And they see that and they're like, oh, fuck. Damn, maybe that was some bullshit. People are fatigued and tired of having a bunch of weirdo freaks on Twitter that have like 7 different mental illnesses tell them what's normal.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are really tired of this type of bullshit. People crying about dumb, insignificant type of shit when there's real problems out there. I think people are particularly sick of those people who call you racist for having a different.
Yeah. Sorry, you're talking about those girls and those chicks. Yeah, I think you're talking about like the amaranth and denims and everything. I want to, sit here and dog them, but the reality is that's always been a thing, to some degree. It, if they have no more respect for themselves than that, why should I have any more respect for them? That's just how I see it. But his, fucking Asmund is calling it, what they're trying to do is get a rise out of anybody. They're not really trying to take you down. They're trying to scare you off. And Asmund's just pretty much gotten to a point where they can't. So they could probably, they figure they could probably do it with someone my size. I mean, because you can see what the counts are up at the top. If they started coming in and bombing and, talking a bunch of shit, well, it's more likely to have an impact on me than someone like Asmund, where his own freaking audience is going to go ape shit on him. And he's just gotten to the point he doesn't give a fuck anymore. And, he shouldn't. It's mind over matter. He shouldn't mind because they don't matter.
Differing opinion or questioning anything at all. They call you anti-LGBT or whatever for the most lukewarm take. And it's just so annoying when you're coming from a good place and you're genuinely trying to understand the situation, what's going on. And then you get people like Hassan and his goon squad trying to cancel you for the dumbest type of shit when in the closet, they're literally supporting terrorists. And I think that Hezbollah clip really sums it up. They got a pride flag on the table. They try to act like, oh, I'm so inclusive. Look at me. You guys should all watch me because, I support your community. And then they declare their love for Hezbollah's flag. It's just, you can't make this shit up, man. People are sick of these dumb Twitter mob shit like that. We know all those tweets that get a ton of likes means nothing. Half of them are botted, or it's just mentally ill people brigading because they have nothing better to do. Anyways, let's move on to the Ludwig section. Basically, if you remember, I called out Ludwig for managing to talk about this whole multi-streaming situation, but avoiding mentioning Hassan once again. And I pointed out how he and his entire chat hates Asmongold and just loves Hassan. So the context here is that Ludwig is talking.
Yeah, Ludwig talked like a lot of shit. Because they were like, somebody said Asmongold was the GOAT. And he's like, what, drinking sodas? And yeah, okay, now that's fair, Sarah. All right, I can agree with that completely. Because that's bullshit, and it's not even that's not even a girl thing, that a woman thing. It's just being a fucking whiny bitch, and I don't, again, I'm not using bitch as a female thing. It's, oh, I'm going to sling it left and right, but I don't want you to be able to sling it back. Right? It's a type of bullying. I want to dish it out all day long, but don't give it back because that's not fair. But yeah, Ludwig was talking some mad shit, and I used to like Ludwig. But He was just kind of dogging on Asmongold. Dude's one of like the biggest streamers on fucking, anywhere. And you could say, well, I don't think he's the GOAT because this other guy, has a better long-term track record. But no, he just like had to be insulting.
Talking about Asmon moving to Kick and how the optics are really bad. Kick has all these bad people. Somehow Twitch is better and the good place to be, which is obviously no longer the case. They literally have terrorist supporters there.
Right.
So here's what he said.
It's on Kick also protects him if I'm going to be a little more bold here, when Asmon gets banned on Twitch again.
Oh, we thinking I'm going to get in trouble again. The thing is that there's a possibility it might happen. But I feel like a lot of this stuff that I do is really not that bad. I'm going to be honest. Like, I really very rarely do I say anything crazy.
Maybe a week, maybe whatever. But you know where he'll never get banned? Kick.
Dude, I can't even make out what he's actually trying to say here because
he's trying to imply that the things that I say are problematic and then Twitch is going to ban me for that reason. That's what he's trying to imply. It's obvious you trying to imply that. I don't think that what I'm saying is so crazy. I really don't. Everybody thinks that I'm crazy, but I don't think that I am.
No, Asmon, everyone doesn't think you're crazy, right? The problem is you're reacting to a handful of streamers who think you're crazy because they're fucking nuts. Okay? That's what's going on. It's not you, it's them.
I think
that sounded like a breakup. But you know what? Fuck it, we'll roll with it.
Everybody else is crazy.
Honestly, I don't agree with a lot of Asmon's takes. There's probably a ton of shit I completely disagree with him about. Obviously, I'm not watching every single one of his streams for 10 hours or whatever. I occasionally catch the clip or whatever for what I need for my videos and shit like that. Obviously, I don't have time for that. I'm making my own videos pretty much every day at this point. But I think from what I've seen so far, Asmon usually has the most lukewarm takes ever. Like, this shit is not controversial in any place other than America. America's the only place where half the shit he says is considered controversial. Like, Asmon will say shit like breaking the law is bad, and then you'll have like Hassan fans go like, nah, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said that. What a disgusting cockroach. Right? And like, when a regular person like me who is completely neutral and watching from another country, has nothing to do with America at all, not invested on any side, I just see like someone like Hassan supporting terrorists, pretending grapes didn't happen, laughing at dead babies in coffins, and I see this like dehumanizing type of shit, and I'm just like, this is not comparable.
Oh my. If I didn't hate Hassan enough, that bit, laughing at babies in coffins. Jesus Christ. Hassan, you sick, petty, little, pissant fuck. Okay? Jesus Christ. How you're still tolerated on any platform is proof of the leftist virus that plagues the tech industry, because you should have been banned for that alone, in my view. Considering what some other people have been banned for, that should have been right up there.
How are people comparing Asmon to Hassan? One guy is clearly way more extreme.
Now, Ludwig has kind of boxed himself into a corner with like the image that he's created for himself. So you're probably not going to see Ludwig streaming or multi-streaming on Kick or anything like that. But I think that in a different world, where if Kick was a different website, he'd probably be multi-streaming on there too.
Yeah, the different worlds he's talking about is if Hassan somehow owned Kick and then gave a little biscuit to Ludwig, his dog, be like, hey, here's a little treat, good boy. You got some permission to stream there.
Two rage-baiting champions who love...
Okay, that's funny because I think Hassan actually referred to Ludwig as like a golden retriever. And so he uses the dog metaphor. Fucking gold.
Love sitting down with a soda.
How is Hassan anywhere close to Asmon? Hassan literally supports and platforms terrorists. Like, you can not like his takes or his politics or whatever, but putting them in the same boat is crazy. Also, why was he so offended?
I would say, really, in a lot of ways, Hassan and I are kind of the same. Like, I think a lot of people would draw that conclusion. I don't think that's really a crazy thing to say. And really, it's just like two people that are really opinionated that say crazy shit, right? It's not that bad of a comparison.
Okay, I think that, I get where they're coming from. Asmon saying that it's like they're two sides of the same coin. and Pegasus is looking at it more as their opinions are so polar opposite. So it's like I see both sides of this one.
Yeah, Asmund has got to stop doing this, bro. He always gives him like the maximum courtesy. Bro, he's out there supporting terrorists. It's not even on the same level. Personally, I don't really care about someone's politics. You can do whatever you want as long as you're not like actively resulting in hurting other people or spreading insane levels of propaganda to the point where it is legitimately damaging to people. Then he talks about how people will morally posture over things like, moving the kicker, if for example.
So whenever you take a round and you look at a person's own actions and you say, well, if you're criticizing a person for doing this, why can't this criticism be leveraged against you for doing Y? And there's not really a reason for it. And so what's happening, I think, now is that there's been a breakdown in the moral posturing of the internet. I think that there was a tremendous amount of like moral posturing and like pretending, basically. And this was in like 2020 to 2023, I would say, especially during COVID, maybe a little bit in 2019. And so it was really, really bad. And people created these entire false personalities and false worlds, virtue signaling. Yeah, there was an entire vulture. I said that.
Vulture
is honestly, it's the same thing.
It is.
It's more accurate. Vulture signaling is better. They created this entire economy and ecosystem around pretending to be people that they're not, and then actively doing things that are not really completely in line with what they believe. And so, or trying to play both sides, or like always having the right opinion on everything. But the fact is that I think that now there's like a growing, I think, tiredness that people have of having anybody tell them like what's good and bad. People just want to watch entertainment. They don't really give a fuck about any of this stuff, right? Like it's all like just noise for most people.
Yeah, I mean, this is well said. Basically, for a long time on the internet, sometimes even now, there's this group of people who will constantly morally posture about things, right? And some of these things are legitimate concerns. Like whenever like people accuse me of doing this, like when I talk about iDubbbz screwing over a charity, they're like, you don't really care about that. I mean, you're saying that I don't care about a charity and it's bad, and you think I'm faking my feelings that it's bad to take from charity and kids with cancer? Like obviously I do care about it to some extent. Am I going to lose sleep over it or anything? Not really, but I'm not saying I'm going to do that. As a general human, I care about things that are scummy, and I can get mad over tiny things like supporting terrorists or stealing from charity. It just feels a bit weird. But yeah, when we talk about morally grandstanding, we're mostly referring to people saying like, oh, you didn't put a black square on Instagram, you don't care about black people, you're fat phobic for criticizing fat people who are like morbidly obese and dying, oh, you're homophobic for calling out a gay person's take they had and not their identity at all. That's the type of moral posturing that's really annoying, where you're sitting on your high horse. And the worst part is the people that do this are usually massive hypocrites. Like even Ludwig or his chat, they'll call Asmongold racist and say all these things like grifter, but then they openly support Hassan, collaborate with him, bend over backwards for him, delete videos for him, defend a guy essentially, in my opinion, scamming a charity event by taking 34%, not making it clear to people. And it's just a bunch of fake sort of fence sitting, because, you pretend to fence it, but actually you're definitely on one side, right? And the only reason you do that is you want everyone to like you, but it ends up turning everybody against you. Then this next part, Ludwig was...
Hold up. I'm going to get back into this for a second, because, all right, that was a long section, and I agree with like 90% of it. The problem is this didn't just start in 2020. Okay. 2020 kind of ramped some stuff up, but this shit has been going on for ages. Okay. This kind of shit went on for ages. If anyone gets bored, look up Sad Puppies. Okay. This is about the Hugo Awards in science fiction literature. I was knee deep in what we call the puppy wars. I was one of the sad puppies. I was vocal. See, the Hugos are voted on by the audience, and the fact was it was trending very, very leftist. Larry Correa, who is a fantastic author, you should read his books. They're amazing. But he was like, hey, this is kind of bullshit. Let's vote for some other people. And he kind of rallied the troops a little bit, and it became a huge thing. And all this shit was going on. We were called racist. We were called sexist. We were called homophobic. we were called anti-diversity. We had a problem with diversity I had a problem with diversity for diversity's sake. And I had a problem with the fact that you are excluding good authors because they happen to be white or they happen to be male. And this was long before 2020. Long before that. And so that's where I have an issue. This is not new. 2020 may have ramped it up, but it's not new at all. Oh, let's get back to this one. I'm gonna have to find shorter videos for this stuff.
Talking about the connotation with moving to kick.
I could come up with
the connotation. The I think like the people who you are surrounded with. That's really
that's the connotation and like all this stuff. This is a fake thing that's made up by viewers and other streamers in order to try to control other people. The moment that you just decide to be your own man and make decisions for yourself, rather than let people shaming you and trying to bully you into doing something, control you, is the moment that you are able to be yourself, right? And so like a lot of people are doing this. And the funny thing is that everybody has a line for this. And like, Ludwig is on Twitch. I mean, Twitch is owned by Amazon. Amazon, everybody would agree, is an immoral employer in a lot of ways. They astroturf fake accounts in order to pretend like union support for Amazon is low. I mean, like that's disgusting, right? I mean, who does that? And then you go over to Twitter. Ludwig is active all the time on Twitter.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. When you use these people's arguments against them, it completely falls apart. Like the connotation with going to kick is so bad. There's so many bad streamers there. Okay, Twitch is equally shit. Terrorist supporters like Hassan, the whole goon squad who puts bounties on people, threatens to kill people. It's also owned by Amazon, the most moral company in the entire world, obviously. Also on the BDS list, by the way. So according to them, if you stream on Twitch, which supports Amazon, you don't care about Palestine. So Hassan,
right,
by the way, he says he follows this list, right? He says
and yet I'm not on Twitch. Why? Because fuck Twitch. Right? I don't give a fuck about Palestine. I give a fuck about a company that will ban someone for calling a couple of streamers whores who called him, rapist. It's no, sorry. No, that I'm not going to let that bullshit fly. And then Tectone had the thing, he got caught a 7-day ban. They reach out and they're like, hey, yeah, we didn't know the whole situation. Yeah, let's, do an appeal and we'll lift your ban. So he does, and they tell him, oh yeah, we reduced it from 14 days to 7. It was only a 7-day ban. He got that, basically had to serve the full 7 days just because Twitch couldn't get his head out of its ass. So fuck Twitch. But not because, of the Palestinians.
Does boycott stuff based on this logic, but conveniently dodges it when it applies to something he actually cares about. Like if it's a little Coca-Cola drink, he'll be like, okay, I won't drink it. I support Palestine, guys. Because obviously a minor thing like that doesn't affect his career. But if you tell him to leave Twitch, oh no, that is suddenly, oh no, I'm specially protected on this platform. Also the thing about Twitter, like they're constantly putting dollars in Elon's pocket. So it's like blatant hypocrisy if you go using their own logic, right? Also, when Ludwig says that people are afraid of going to kick because of their community, he's literally talking about his own community. He's admitting that he might have thought of doing these things, and he probably thinks it's actually okay to stream on Kick too, but he's so audience captured that his own community won't let him do shit with that insane backlash, right? Like the second Asmongold's name was mentioned, they spam shit like good riddance, good day, he's gone, disgusting, I hate him, worst person ever, racist. Like, of course, if you have a community like that, they're not going to let you be free and be your authentic self. So that's why, as a creator, it's important you put your foot down and not be walked on over by these pathetic losers, right? I always listen to feedback, but I'm not a dog like Ludwig, who can be trained by someone like Hassan. You got to stand up for yourself, you got to have a little level of self-respect so you're not being walked over like that. Now click this video or you got to watch Hassan streams for the rest of your life every single day ever. You're not going to get past 24 hours, pal. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Okay, that was what it was. But it's that Tectone got fucked, man. He got bent over royally. And Hassan can sit there and have literal damn terrorists on his stream. Literal fucking terrorists. Now, if I thought this was a platform that was just so pro free speech that it just didn't give a shit, I'd be like, all right, that's dope. They're just going to let everybody do what they're going to do. And you just kind of like shield stuff from young eyes where it needs to be. Okay, you're at least being consistent. People know what they get when they log on. I'm still not down with the terrorists, simping. But if they were consistent, I could tolerate it. But they're not. They're not. Asmongold, if I remember right, he caught a ban for saying that, they're from an inferior culture. Well, you know what? He's not wrong. Prior to the rise of Islam, the Middle East was more advanced than Europe. The early days of Islam, that progression was still going, but it has slowed down something fierce. In my childhood, the Middle East was still exotic and welcoming to the West. I remember the Iranian Islamic Revolution in Iran. I remember Americans being held hostage in the embassy. I remember that. I'm that old. But that was Iran. Most of the rest of the places, that was cool. The culture and so much the rest of the Middle East has gotten to where it's even the supposedly friendly countries are paying for terrorism. So, yeah, I'm not sure he was wrong. He caught a ban for that. Frogan can say troops deserve PTSD. She can say that and nobody says anything. Hassan can say we deserve 9/11. Nobody says anything. Denims and Justin Minks can call Tectone a sexual predator and nobody does anything. When he fires back, they ban him. And when they reach out and go, hey, we realize we kind of made a mistake, they drop the ball so they can sit here and go, we made a mistake, but we're not actually going to fucking fix it. Twitch is not a good place to be. That's why I'm not there. Could I probably do better on that platform too, since it's the larger platform? Maybe. I'd be, a tiny fish in a much, much bigger pond. If people discover me, there's a chance of a greater number being in a position to discover me on those platforms. But I gotta look at myself in the mirror. And that's just, yeah. That's new. That is a thing that I wouldn't be able to do there. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So what are you guys thinking? What's on your minds about that? Because we got folks. I know Sarah's in here, and it kind of sucks. I can't actually see who is I can't actually see who's logged in the chat. So chat, tell me what you got. What's on your mind? I want to hear it. I don't want to be this worked up. By the way, those of you who are on Pepperbox, today's unsubscribe. Really cool episode. First 13 minutes or so is Eli talking about the autism fundraising. And I'm going to tell you to kind of stick on through, because he talks a little bit about it, and he reaches out and, talks about, how it can be finding out you have an autistic kid. Yeah, Matt. I wasn't sure if Matt was still here. But I know Matt was here. But people are coming and going hither and yon. For some reason. Let's see what we got banners here. I'm going to try something here real quick. Hey, I made a banner. That's awesome. I'm going to remove it because it was stupid. But I just learned something new. Fair enough, Sarah. I always forget that part. But yeah, I was worked up. I get worked up about it. I loathe Hassan Piker. I don't like people like that. I'm not, when I walk away from the computer, I don't think about him. Yeah, him talking about riding today, was kind of amazing. There is no doubt that man loves his kid. He's a fantastic father. And it's the No King Day protest is interesting. Is it an opportunity to commit a terrorist attack? Yeah, it is. But in truth, when you've got a large number of people in any given place, there is that possibility. They think they're being sneaky because they're having one of those here, and I kind of wanted to see where it was because I was thinking about going and covering it. But they're like, we'll email you the location, and I don't feel like giving them my contact information. But they think they're being smart, but anybody is going to be able to get that because they want people out there. But really, I think we're more likely to see violence from the protesters in cities that are going to be tolerant. You're not going to get that in Texas. You're not going to get it in Florida. You're not going to get it here in most places here in Georgia. You might get it in like large cities in those states. But for the most part, I see it more as a chance to riot than for there to be terrorist attacks, with the exception of false flags. I can see someone showing up in a MAGA hat, shooting off a bunch of rounds and taking off, hoping to make it look like it was the right. But then when they catch him, it turns out it's extreme leftist. I'm going to try to see if I can figure out where it is, just so me and mine can stay the hell away. Because Jesus Christ, I want nothing to do with it. And I love they're doing this on Trump's birthday. A lot of it is that delusion that somehow he planned this military parade for his birthday that just happens to be the exact same day. Like, Jesus. People are retarded. It's just all there is to it. Yeah, by the way, if you guys pick up thunder or anything on my microphone, it's because there's thunder. We got rumblings and many other things happening. So if you take that, if you hear that, sorry, but what am I going to do? Tell the thunder to stop? All right. So I got another video I want to watch. This one's shorter, but this is the guy I want to narrate my life story. Decoy Voice has got the voice, man. I want him for all my narration needs.
Who told the Democrats that acting like emotional chihuahuas was appealing, as there's literally nothing less presidential than having a bark quieter than your cry. As after Newsom did it yesterday, his entire party is doing the same, reacting to when the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, was addressing the press.
That they have the opportunity every single day to return back home, and we will work with them and facilitate that.
Then some unknown senators started charging at her.
And what they have tried to insert into the city. So I want to say thank you to every single person.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary.
All right, notice something here, guys. They're making a big thing about how Padilla was, like ejected and how they grabbed hold of him and everything. And it's like, he was just trying to answer a question. This motherfucker was trying to approach the Secretary of Homeland Security and didn't identify himself as a United States Senator until after they started trying to detain him, right? Nobody knows who this fucker is. Yeah, he's a senator that literally nobody's ever heard of. And so he wants to ask this question and, goes through, makes an ass of himself. And then, they want to act like, yeah, everybody knows all 100 senators of all time. For the record, Kristi Noem said she never met the son of a bitch. Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. And a lot of the video is not, like, we have the whole video and it's not the whole video. Because that first part, he's trying to approach a member of the president's cabinet, a sensitive post. This is an important position. Let's be honest, Kristi Noem is right up there with the people you would want to assassinate in general. If you want to create disorder in the United States, she's got to be near the top of the list for a foreign power or domestic terrorism kind of situation. So, this is just nuts, and he's a whiny little bitch for it, and the rest of the Democrats are doing it too.
Because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
The ground. Hands on your back. Hands on your back.
If you let my hands go, I stand behind my back.
As the DHS clearly explained after, the senator interrupted a press conference without having his Senate security pin on, lunging at Secretary Noem as he...
So it wasn't even... There was nothing to give them a reason to believe any of that bullshit. Big shock.
Repeatedly refused to back away. Secret Service thought he was an attacker, but after, the two had a 15-minute meeting. But that didn't stop this somber senator from sharing his sob story.
So you guys have some questions. I'm going to read a brief statement. I will not be taking questions, but allow me to read my statement. You can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country.
Somebody get this guy an emotional support animal, because this isn't how we want our local leaders to look like, where their bark is them screeching at a press conference and their bite is them crying at a different press conference. If the Democrats really want you to believe they will fight for anything, they desperately have to change their branding. As Democrat Senator warned...
I was like, imagine what they're doing to these other people. Well, you know what? If they're illegal, they're illegal. I hate to break it to you. Oh, you watched that one live? Oh, geez. You talking about the Kristi Noem presser? Was that the one you were watching? Yeah, it's Oh, yeah, that is convenient. 15, not even 15 minutes later. I mean, granted, it doesn't really, you know, it wouldn't have taken long to jump on it. They don't wait for facts to come in anyways. He say cuts. I don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me. It's definitely appropriate. It's seriously, decoy voice, my guy. You're definitely my narrator for life, man.
Does the same.
When Senator Padilla gets pushed, shoved, thrown to the handcuffed.
An unemployed Democrat, Buttigieg, gets in it too.
I just saw
Buttigieg.
something that made my stomach turn.
You look down? Was that what you did? I get it. A lot of guys have that problem.
United States Senator pushed to the ground and handcuffed after asking questions.
No. After storming a fucking press conference. Notice they always leave. He's just asking questions. If he was part of the press conference, if he had identified himself as a United States Senator, if he had done 1,000 different things, including having his Senate pen, right? That pen is like your free pass as a senator. The only people who get it are senators. He didn't do that, right? Leaving that off, well, like our good friend Mr. Baker here said, it was orchestrated. Leave that shit off. He knew what was going to happen. See, fuck around and find out is what happens when you don't know what happens. When you do, you still fuck around because you know what the find out's going to look like, and that's what you want.
But Senator Booker shows us maybe sad is a better strategy. Otherwise, they look
I am
deranged.
Spartacus! And this son of Mexican immigrants who cleaned homes and served food was driven violently to his knees as if made to kneel before the authority of the executive.
Because he tried to storm the Secretary of Homeland Security, Spartacus. Shut the fuck up and grow some hair.
Because if you could make Alex forcibly kneel before this executive, when does it stop?
It's called an arrest. Okay? It's normal to put the suspect on the ground. Right? It's on the ground. This is normal. This is very, very normal.
If you could force him to kneel to his knees violently, when does it stop?
And the Democrats wonder why they have a problem appealing to men when all they do is lie and try to emotionally manipulate you into doing them favors, which is the exact opposite of masculinity. But the worst.
Yep. And no, Sarah, I'm pretty sure cucks means what you think. But it's. I find it funny. They're losing their shit over a guy trying to storm into a press conference being arrested when they wanted to arrest us for leaving our fucking house a few years ago. They sent cops to some motherfucker who was on the beach. They wouldn't let us go to church. They wouldn't let our kids go to school. But they should be free to storm a press conference without any identification. And we're supposed to let them? Seriously? These dumb motherfuckers.
Part about all of this is I don't think any of them are crying on camera because of virtue. They're just using it as a platform to begin their own presidential campaigns. As LA Mayor Karen Bass writes, he's a sitting U.S. Senator. This administration's violent attacks on our city must end. But confusingly, didn't condemn these violent attacks. With Governor Gavin Newsom writing, if they can
I love he calls him Newscum. Y'all catch that?
Cuff a U.S. Senator, imagine what they'll do to you. As they're going right into fear.
Nothing. They will do nothing to me because I'm not stupid enough to storm a press conference. Especially not if I'm a senator and don't have my fucking security pin so they know who the fuck I am. There's 530 something members of Congress. Nobody knows all of them on site.
Fear-mongering, with the LA Times saying first they came for the immigrants, then they took down our Latino senator.
Oh, please.
But the Daily Mail headlining the story with martial law. They really want you.
Oh my God. They think that's martial law? Oh, Jesus Christ. As somebody who is technically a journalist, allow me to apologize for the fact that the people in my profession are complete and absolute brain dead idiots. Okay? They will get outraged at whatever they're told to be outraged about and will ignore the shit they're told to ignore. Anyone else remember Hunter Biden's laptop that NPR was like, that's not news?
You, the reader, to be scared that Trump's shock troops are going to come for us all, when it's really easy as not charging at the Secretary of Homeland Security during a press conference. It's really...
It ain't rocket science, man. It ain't.
Not that difficult. And you know it's bad when even CNN sides with the Trump administration.
She was holding a press conference and doing a press statement. He's not a member of the press. It wasn't like a hearing where it was an open forum for senators to ask a question. He clearly showed up to a public event to create a moment and do what you're saying, sort of show his constituents, not just Democrats, but that he's fighting from his perspective.
And how should we, in your view, be analyzing how we're seeing these agents respond?
This was not a Q&A period, and she's interrupted. She's interrupted by someone who is speaking very loudly, and so her security detail confronts what we obviously now know to be the senator, and at that point, he is now going to be escorted out. But the second incident, in my view, happens the moment as officers are trying to lead him out, he then turns and walks back towards, kind of into those agents. At that point, from a security detail perspective, we're taking this person out against their will.
But the senator is getting exactly what he wanted, immediately doing a press tour featuring sadness about his arrest, with plenty of articles that'll finally make him relevant, as his little emotional outburst only makes him look pathetic. But I think it's important that the Democrats take every opportunity to draw the focus away from what they're actually discovering about these raids in LA, as the most important portion of Noam's press conference is their findings on funding.
And we also have the IRS here that's helping us track how these violent protesters are funded, what NGOs out there, what unions, what other individuals may be funding.
Where earlier someone was seen distributing these expensive bionic shields to the rioters.
For the record, those things are like $30 a pop. I'm actually thinking about getting one for metalworking. But yeah, these are not cheap face shields.
The FBI later identified and charged, as he seems to be part of a much larger organization. And as Data Republican has been digging, she's finding this No Kings protest is actually being funded by several organizations that receive taxpayer money. Where some of them are giving in the millions of dollars. Now, I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but we gotta get a little conspiratorial. As these riots kicked off when they raided the fashion district in downtown LA. And I saw it first from this random lady.
The riots got started in Los Angeles, not because ICE was going in and arresting people who came here illegally, but because the fashion district had an investigation going on where they were smuggling and laundering money in from Mexico and Colombia. They did not report over 80 million in goods, and they did not pay over 17 million in taxes.
But it is in line with similar cases in the fashion district, where recently another wholesaler was also convicted of laundering money. And now our border czar, Tom Homan, says the same thing is happening now.
That's what I was talking about. The fashion district wasn't an immigration raid. It was the service of 3 criminal warrants at locations based on a large criminal conspiracy that ICE have been investigating. That has to do with money laundering, tax evasion, and customs fraud. And it's part of an overall conspiracy on numerous businesses that they believe that some of this money is being laundered in Mexico and Colombia to fund cartel activity.
It really changes your perspective on why the Democrats are so desperate to regain control of the National Guard, where they even go screaming and sprinting at the DHS secretary when she's just trying to tell us about this. As every
okay, now I'm not gonna lie, that's interesting. I knew about the funding, okay, And I had heard some rumblings that the raids were not what was described, but I hadn't gotten confirmation on that. The Holman interview, that was new to me. And it's interesting because that's kind of a game changer because it undermines so much. Yeah, exactly. They did their job. That was exactly what they were supposed to do. Yeah, and pro tip, if you ever have to tell someone, do you know who I am? The answer is no. For the record, the answer is no. Right? I mean, Jesus Christ, she botched the response to the fires. You know how many permits they've issued since the Palisade fires for people to clear the land to rebuild? Something like 7 permits out of all those homes. Like, Jesus Christ, people can't rebuild. Her administration isn't doing anything to help these people. Yeah, the taser was more likely under the circumstance, but if he had gotten too aggressive, they could have decided he was a threat to the secretary and lit him up, and that'd have been freaking hilarious on one level. Just for the record.
Attack against these raids are based in lies and emotional manipulation. They claim they're tearing families apart when they're really arresting dangerous individuals, like criminals with records of human smuggling and laundering, people who have a history of harming kids, and more people who have histories of crimes against kids. Interesting how most of these guys are Asian, but you won't see me acting in solidarity with heinous criminals. But now that we're putting the puzzle pieces together, it's starting to make sense why these liberal cities are allowing these riots to repeat. Where in Seattle again, they're building barricades to block off the streets. And into the evening, they're parking their most vulnerable at the front line. Which makes sense when they chant this. Eventually setting fire to their own city.
They're sitting here yelling Allah Akbar. Somebody yells Allah Akbar, I can make a pretty good case of using lethal force in self-defense. I'm just saying, people who do that have a tendency to explode afterwards. I wouldn't be yelling it unless I intended to do something with it.
City. And it's only a matter of time before, like Los Angeles, they start attacking the coppers. But why are these protests only occurring in deep blue parts of the country? Well, maybe it's because in places like Florida...
Okay, this dude is fucking based. I saw some of his comments earlier, man. It's glorious.
They actually let their law enforcement enforce the law.
JD
if you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at.
With their governor sharing what the citizens could do.
You have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you.
And that's it, guys. I think I'm finally going to move to Miami. Even if it drastically changes the formatting of my channel, I think the switch will be so gradual you won't even notice. As sadly, I had a whole joke to do here, but as of recording this, World War III has broken out in the Middle East, so the decoy course about how to be an alpha male to your sugar babies will just have to wait, as I gotta start researching if we're about to go to war too, so be sure you subscribe for that. Don't doom scroll on social media all day when you have my concise, light order commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, so subscribe to Decoy Voice.
Oh, I love his stuff, man. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, they're um yeah, Jay, sorry about the PTSD, brother. Um it ain't no fun. I've seen it too many times. But yeah, man, Florida sheriffs, they really are built different. They do not fuck around. Especially, relatively rural ones. No, it's like, oh, somebody's giving you shit. These are the lines. If they cross it, light them up. And they have no problem doing it themselves either. It is freaking amazing to watch them go at it, man. Uh, you know, um, but yeah, it's that shit is fucking nuts. Yeah, but I mean, it's the it what those sheriffs are saying though. Uh, you know, that's just common sense. That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay, I do not know where the damn flies came from in here, and they're pissing me off. But when the mob comes after you, all right, let's talk Kyle Rittenhouse for a second. Whether Kyle should or shouldn't have been at that protest in Kenosha is irrelevant. He was not breaking the law by doing it. He was not breaking the law by standing there with a rifle. He was not breaking the law by possessing that rifle. When the mob decided to turn on him and to go after him, 3 different people engaged in behavior that was a clear threat to bodily harm beyond what anyone could even really question. And but the thing is, he could have lit up that and killed everybody in that mob and been numbers. He had a reasonable fear for his life. You do that more, and I promise you the mobs aren't going to do that shit. It's just it's stupid. Do they actually think this would do anything? I mean, honestly. But the only reason they won in 2020, and I've come more and more into accepting the idea of fraud, because people were pissed after the Black Lives Matter riots. They were pissed. And especially because we can't go to school, we can't go to church, we can't have our families over for an outdoor barbecue. We can only have 6 people over. But racism's a bigger threat. It's a bigger deal. So all that goes out the window. Second Amendment groups held protests and they maintained social distancing. They did, all of that to make a point about the lockdowns. And it was the worst that you would have sworn this was, they were rioting. But that was completely acceptable. that would have been acceptable, because if you were writing for Black Lives Matter, if you're like, hey, I think I should be able to go to a movie, I should be able to open my business for customers. If you did something like that, if that's what you were arguing over, you were heartless. You were trying to kill grandma. And now 4 years later, 5 years later now, we're right back to they're rioting over deportation of ICE raids, and it wasn't even an ICE raid. Well, you know what? Let it be an ICE raid. Let it. Okay? Let it be an ICE raid. I don't care anymore. I don't give a shit. Right? Because I am tired of the lies. Right? I'm tired of them talking about how, ICE showed up at an elementary school graduation. They showed up and people were like scrambling to get out, and they disrupted the whole graduation. And the Los Angeles Unified School District, which is not full of Trump supporters, said it was bullshit. Never happened. Never fucking happened. Yet that's still part of so much narrative. The video I put out yesterday bombed hard. And it sucks because it's really good, in my opinion, because I take this Instagram influencer who's decides to talk very, very authoritatively on what's going on. But she's dumb enough to think that CNN and Fox News are in the same camp. Yeah, exactly. Never happened. But this chick talks very authoritatively about the narrative, that it's Republicans are very good at establishing a narrative. No one ever said the rioters were the only people out there. We just didn't give a shit about the others. Why? Because they weren't wrecking shit. Right? If without the rioters, those people are the stories, and nobody gives a nobody's all worked up about it. We might make fun of them, but it's their right to speak freely. And I'm sorry, when you're out protesting and people start rioting, if you stay there, you're culpable. Yeah, she is. She also did the whole bit about being an illegal immigrant. It isn't a crime. Seriously, guys, she actually was like, it's not a crime. It's a federal offense. That's different. Guys, I'm going to start buying machine guns and not worry about the National Firearms Act, because that's just a federal offense. That's not a crime. The fact that it's a misdemeanor on your first offense and a felony after that means it's a crime. She said it was a civil matter. No, it's not. Civil matters don't come with jail time. Misdemeanors and felonies are criminal offenses. Right? One Google search would have shown her that. Damn straight. Damn straight. Now, here's the thing. I could be wrong. I freely admit it. I've been wrong before. Right? It's how it works. It's how the universe functions. Right? Sometimes we're right. Sometimes we're wrong. Nobody gets it right all the time. We try. Right? And the whole, you think you're always right. Well, yeah, everybody thinks they're always right. They acknowledge that they're probably not, but if you ask them about any particular issue, they're going to think they're right. Why are they going to think they're right? Because they think they're right. Doesn't matter why. Okay? We're just generally, most of us acknowledge that all the things we think we're right about, it's impossible we're right about everything. But when you sit there and you're like, I'm going to talk about this from marketing, because that's my thing. Yes, you have 114,000 subscribers. You have an Etsy shop that has sold 14 things. Yeah, the bitch has an Etsy shop that sold 14 things. She's doing a great job marketing. But I mean, the thing is, she's not the problem, right? She's the symptom. She is that person who she's representative of all the little drones that that the left uses, right? She's a foot soldier. She likes to think she's something more because she's got 114,000 followers on Instagram or what have you. But she's not. She's just a more vocal foot soldier, and she's spreading bullshit. But the thing is, she believes that bullshit. She literally was saying this not because she's trying to lie, but because she's a fucking moron. She's an idiot who thinks she knows what she's talking about. She doesn't. She doesn't have a fucking clue. But this is where we're at. Oh, let's see what we got. Anything new on Twitter here? Well, Blair White asked who else is feeling a false flag coming, which is funny because I kind of mentioned that earlier, didn't I? Oh yeah, I got to share this real quick here, because this is just funny to me. Let's see. I shared this on X. Breaking: both Katy Perry and Kim Kardashian just came out against Donald Trump's inhumane ICE raids. Public support is turning against Trump. This is huge, y'all. When a fake ass astronaut and someone who's best known for having a sex tape leak, or who became known because of a sex tape leak, are turning against the president, it doesn't mean anything except that he's losing the retard vote. You know, and he didn't have that vote to begin with. It's not like either of them were Trump supporters. The public's turning against Trump because two famous people who opposed him from the start still oppose him. Oh my God, we're doomed. Jesus Christ. And what the fuck has happened to Katy Perry? I swear to God, I mean, she was never like super impressive to me. She was a decent singer, but you know, that was it. And it's did she have a lobotomy? Is that what happened? Did she have an elective lobotomy? Because it explain a lot. It really would. Yeah, that was just absolutely stupid. Let's see. Trying to find something else to get into. Let's see. Because, I mean, oh, this is going to piss me off. This is going to piss me off. Hold on a second. Let's. Yep, that it is. Let's see. Let's watch this real quick.
Don't want to eat the meat in the stores because of the chemicals.
The farm is surrounded by warehouses or land that's about to become warehouses. O'Donnell hopes Cranberry finds other places to put 265 affordable housing units and fulfill its constitutionally mandated obligation.
I hope they use their minds and their hearts that this is a good thing in this community. There's a lot of people like to look at these animals. Sometimes they're parking along the side of the road. They come up in a driveway. They just want to sit here and look at it. They don't want to eat the meat in the stores.
Yeah, so basically, Cranberry, New Jersey is going to seize a 175-year-old family farm under eminent domain to build affordable housing. That pisses me off. you know, that pisses me off. I don't like eminent domain, even though I understand there's an argument to be made for it. But taking someone's property, taking a farm that's been in their family for 175 years to build affordable housing is vile. Okay? Is they're trying to tell me there's no other place. Hold on. Know what? Nowhere else in town they could build that. Let's see. Let's do some. Hold on a second here. Let's do a little Google Mappy poo here. Let's not do that then. All right, now let's do this real quick. All right, so this is the town. I'm trying to figure out where this farm is. Because I mean, let's be honest. It looks like there's a lot of property. Right, there's a lot of farms. You know, what's this shit here? You know, hey, just kind of, it looks like there's a lot of places you could do this. Actually, we're out of the town now. So I'm not really sure exactly where he is. Let's see. Yeah, I can't figure out where, but I mean, it looks like there's a lot of places that could be that they could put this stuff. Unless, of course, they don't want to. And that's probably what's going on there. Yeah. It's they probably went with who they thought would could afford to put up the weakest fight, because that's usually how it goes. Ever since Kilo versus New London, I've really had a hatred for eminent domain. I've always hated the idea of just coming in and saying, "Oh yeah, this is ours now. We'll give you what we want to give you, and you're just shit out of luck." But Kilo versus New London, city of New London, Connecticut. I don't know if y'all remember that case, but they basically said Supreme Court actually said a city could take property and sell it for private development, with the understanding it would be increase the tax base, right? It would generate more money for the town. That was a public good. That justified eminent domain. And the ultimate irony, the economy went to shit after that decision, and the company that was going to develop the land wasn't able to. And so after they had already destroyed people's homes, it's sitting vacant. They're now not getting any property taxes for it. You know, it's kind of poetic in a way. But that just, seriously, Well, I mean, they're saying it's affordable housing. Yeah, railroad track. That's I don't like it either, but I accept it. I accept it as it's one of those things that we don't have a choice on. We kind of got to suck it up. But yeah, I get it. I get it. But a freaking mall, yeah, like you said, housing and offices though, yeah, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. And for people to sit there and think that this is acceptable is vile. It is absolutely and totally vile. Just people want to know why I don't trust the government. That's why. That's why they can do shit like that. And the fact is, if they think they can get away with it, someone's going to do it sooner or later. In fact, truth be told, man, that Kelo decision needs to be rescinded. They need a new precedent on that to override it. And I keep praying Supreme Court will do it because that pissed everybody off. A lot of states passed constitutional amendments preventing it, just because it was. I mean, people were that pissed, and it was across the aisle. Look, when you piss off the Democrats and the Republicans, you fucked up. I mean, you fucked up something bad. Let's see. Having to check a few things here. So let's see. That's not what I meant to click. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I got a lot going on and stuff I gotta check on. Oh man. I fucking hate that shit. Oh. I don't really can't really add anything to that. David Beckham's been knighted for services to sports and charity. Okay. I'd knight him for, hooking up and marrying the hottest Spice Girl, but that's just me. Let's see. A lot of people are still talking about the whole Padilla thing on Twitter, and it's. I know my Twitter feed is not representative of Twitter in general, but yeah, it's people are thinking it's kind of bullshit what we're seeing there. Oh man. Let's see. Well, sorry guys, I'm slowing down. This right here, write it down. Write it down. Because this is the God's honest fucking truth. Okay? The only way you can get the two sides to agree on something is either it is so fucking retarded they agree on it, or it is so fucked up. Right? And when they're both pissed about something, and the libertarians are pissed about it, and the only people who can't really bitch too much are the socialists and the commies, yeah, it's you've just witnessed evil. You've witnessed evil, and burn it to the ground. That's metaphorically, YouTube. That's metaphorically. Goddamn fly. There has not been a fly in this office for 3 weeks, and now there's one, and he just wants to hang around my fucking monitor. Oh. I'm gonna cut his ass with a razor blade. Wait, does this count as a weapon against YouTube's policy? Asking for a friend? Never mind. Let's not get into that. YouTube's way YouTube is about weapons is fucking stupid. I honestly, guys, I would love to be a gun tuber. I would love to just, do the Brandon Herrera thing. But it's so hard to deal with YouTube's stupidity on some stuff. Oh, we need to see this. We need to see this. This is going to be fun for the whole class. Oh, Sarah's got a fly fucking with her too. Okay. At least we know it's not the same fly. We got at least that going for us here. Let's see this, because from what I've seen, this is going to be interesting. That is so fucking fake. That is so goddamn fake. Oh my god. Hey, Chat GPT, help me make people think we shot down an F-35. F-35 isn't engaging that altitude, for one thing. Okay? That's some like movie shit. If it's that low and maybe it's doing something like close air support, but not just whatever the fuck that's supposed to be. Sorry, I gotta throw shade. I was like, hey, Chat GPT, can you help me make it look like we shot down an F-35? It doesn't have to be that good. And apparently it was a Su-35 model. Yeah, looking at it now, it is. It's still fake though. Oh god, people are stupid. Oh my god. That's amazing. That is perfect. Yeah, it did. It really did. I didn't think about it. She said that, but it's like, yeah, if they remade Missile Command for today, I used to play that game all the fucking time. I sucked at it. Yeah, but a Disney cartoon is actually more realistic. God. Holy shit. That was awful. That's the shit they come up with. And then they call that proof. And when you call them on it, the bullshit, they get pissy and act like you're actually ignoring real evidence when that's clearly like some AI shit. It's none of that's how that looks. None of it. I'm like, geez. Oh. What else we got? Anything good? Because that was a winner. Let's see if we can get some. Oh, I gotta see if we can get this play. Motherfucker. Yeah. I'm roid raging without roids. Oh my God, this is y'all. We gonna have some fun with this one too, because I gotta make a thing of it because this is a retarded take. The footage no one will publish: Israeli air defense systems firing from densely populated areas in Tel Aviv to intercept Iranian missiles. Who's really using civilians as human shields? Fucking Hamas. These are fucking air defense systems. They are shooting down missiles heading towards populated areas. They are protecting the populated areas. Like, Jesus Christ. Why do I do this to myself? Why? Why? Let's see. Let's see. I got a buddy of mine apparently was accused of being a hypocrite. You know, why didn't you say anything about Biden driving up the deficit? And well, he did, but you know, whatever. Oh, let's see. Okay, we're gonna have some fun with this one because this is a protest. This is the protest I want to get into. Okay, we're gonna have some fun with that. Let's end road work. God damn it! End road work. End road work. That's funny. I mean, this is stupid. Don't get me wrong. This is a bunch of guys being retarded, but you know, I love it. Let's have some fucking fun with this shit. You know, it's like the old Vine. Road work ahead. Well, I hope it works. Oh, almost got him that time. Fucking, maybe I scared him off. Probably not. Let's see. We got some Tim Walz shit. Let's have some Tim Walz fun. Anyone want to see what the Ferry in Chief for the state of Minnesota has to say?
I don't think we can leave this discussion without just asking you broadly about what happened last night. Very eventful day on many scores, but the fact that we have Israel striking Iran, and
Center for American Progress. You know this is going to be good, Jack. You know this is going to be just a big brain take.
Escalatory, I think, would be an understatement. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Tampons in men's and boys' rooms.
Deeply concerned. I think we know anything in the Middle East. And look, I know there's a lot of folks here and across the country. The situation in Gaza is intolerable, and it became a central focus in the campaign. And I would say rightfully so. Human rights issues, how we're going to try and attempt to get a two-state solution where we can allow folks to live peacefully and coexist and have their own self-control or self-determination. The issue now in the spreading.
All right. The problem is the Palestinians don't want a two-state solution. They don't want to live in peace with the Israelis. That's the fucking problem, right? People say this is intolerable. Yeah, because the Palestinians won't accept the Israeli presence. You know, you're not going to, until you can understand that, you're never going to solve the issue
of this. And I have to be candid with you. I was there during the debates and I voted for the Iran nuclear deal. I think it was one of the most and I said in there, just to be clear, with the Russian ambassador, with the French ambassador, with our negotiators, with everybody who was there to bring about the capacity to stop Iran's nuclear capacity, but in a way that was not so punitive that we would hamper some of their economic growth. I truly worry now. I'm sure there's great strategic thinkers in the Trump administration that have now said, how is this going to, a tweet from the president today said, I told them they should have done something, and now here we are. Yeah, here we are with the Middle East back on fire in a way that is now expanded. Iran has to retaliate in their mind, I'm sure. And now, who is the voice in the world that can negotiate some type of agreement in this? Who holds the moral authority? Who holds the ability to do that? Because we are not seen as a neutral actor, and we maybe never were. I don't want to tell anybody.
Yeah, we're not a neutral actor. So the fuck what? Right? Trump said, fuck around and find out. They fucked around. They found out. Right? You don't need to be a neutral actor to tell someone, knock this shit off. Okay? I don't want us going to war over it, but God damn it, Iran is an existential threat to Israel.
That. I think there's a lot of people that say you always lean one way in this, but I think there was at least an attempt to be somewhat of the arbitrator in this. We saw President Carter do it with Begin and Sadat. We've had certain wins along the way that were actually mutually beneficial both ways. Now I ask who that is. And I mean, consistently over and over again, we're going to have to face the reality. It might be the Chinese. And that goes against everything they say they're trying to do in terms of the balance of power. So I would just have to say my heart goes out for this. Ukraine continues to go on. Gaza continues to be a humanitarian disaster, and now it's expanded even further.
Huh. Well, that's actually fascinating. It really is. It's genuinely interesting take, because I knew Tim Walz was a moron. I didn't realize how big of a moron. What Carter did with Israel and Egypt was different, because while Egypt had a history of hostility, they wanted to get beyond that. Okay, they wanted the end of that. Iran has made it their mission to rid the world of Israel. You're not, unless you fundamentally change that, unless you get in there somehow and make them not want that anymore, all they're going to do is negotiate and buy time. They've been talking. We've been in talks. All this time, they're trying to build a nuclear weapon. They're trying to build a nuclear weapon while negotiating about not building nuclear weapons. Once they've got it, they've got it. And the problem isn't that Iran wants a nuclear weapon. It's not. It's that Iran wants to use a nuclear weapon. Yeah, this is Isaac and Ishmael shit. This shit goes way the fuck back. There is still so much hatred there. And as bad as it is in general, it gets worse when you get that militant flavor of Islam. That is absolutely vile. Like absolutely and completely vile towards the existence of a Jewish state. Now, I'm not huge on any ethno state, right? That's a state based around a certain religion or ethnicity or anything. But the truth is that after the Holocaust, I get why they want one. I do. But it's they got to do something, and we can't sit there and go, well, we just need to negotiate. Negotiations only work if both sides are willing to do it in good faith. Iran has proven it doesn't want that. I am not a warmonger. War is terrible. War is awful. We should avoid it at all costs, or most costs. We should avoid it as much as we can. That's the way I should phrase this. But when time for war comes, we should descend upon our enemies like the fiery hand of God. We should burn horrors into their cultural psyche that lasts for millennia upon millennia. We should lay down such hellfire and destruction that nobody fucks with us for generations. That's my take on the use of force. You don't just play nice and avoid it all. Avoiding it at all costs is seen as weakness in that part of the world. In most of the world, right? Americans have a bad habit of thinking everyone else is like Americans, right? We're not. They're not. We're the exception. Like, parts of the world live off of graft. Bribery is it's considered part of your income. It's just how business is done. People want these, certain jobs, not because they pay well, but because they get nice bribes from Western companies. Europe and the United States and Canada are the exception on that stuff. This idea of we should negotiate, even if we can fight a war, we should try to avoid it as much as we can, is a Western idea. The rest of the world don't play that game. Let's get into the real question. Okay. First of all, President Brandon Herrera would be hilarious. I'm just gonna lay that there. Brandon would be amazing. I don't think he's ready for that yet. I could actually see him potentially running for Congress again, and especially if Tony Gonzalez doesn't run, where the Republican establishment gets the hell out of his way. He's going to own that. He's legitimately going to own that district. He will walk away with it, hands down, I think. But for president, I don't think he would even try it, and I don't think he would get that far. Vance is a strong possibility. As vice president, he's got so much going for him. I mean, he really does. He's a veteran. He's a combat veteran. His history is well documented. If you haven't read Hillbilly Elegy, do it. I read it before he ever ran for office. It is a fantastic book. And a lot of people wanted to make it out like it was racist or some shit. But the fact of the matter is, I live in an area economically not that different from his, from where he grew up. And I see a lot of that same shit in the black community here in South Georgia, which is the majority in my town. And it kind of makes it, in a way, the book disproves racism. The racist argument that, well, blacks are just wired this way, because Vance was talking about this was shit he saw in white people in the hills of Ohio. So, let's see. Nick can be a G. Donut for VP. AC for chief of staff. No. Nick, Rich does not need to be chief of staff. Rich needs to be attorney general. Sarah, it's Hillbilly Elegy. It's J.D. Vance's book. AC for DHS. Yeah, okay. I could accept that one too. Yeah, absolutely. Jake for AG. Jake Watson for AG, because he's a lawyer. Eli for SecDef. I like the idea of Eli for SecDef. Basically, everyone's gonna, Ethan. All right, habitual line crosser. We want HLC as press secretary, but he only does it as a green screen map of the United States. Yeah, we're gonna do it that way. None of these guys have actually volunteered for this, anyways. Doesn't matter. We're drafting them. This is just how it's gonna be, guys. Sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna have to hit Rich up. Go, yeah, look at my live stream last half hour. You guys will get a kick out of it. But yeah, yeah, we got. Let's see, Secretary of the Interior. Who would be the good for the interior? Oh, Nick could be all right for press secretary. But okay, national parks, the history thing, that would be Nick. Nick for second to Secretary of the Interior. Let's see. Let me pull up a list of cabinets. Cabinet positions in the executive branch here. I just gotta have like some. All right, Nick's from Iowa, so Secretary of Agriculture would work. Or Secretary of Commerce, because dude can fucking sell anything. Junkyard Diggs as Secretary of Transportation. They just both of them would hold that. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Ooh. Let's see. I know Demo retired, but he's done some building shit. We could plug him in there. And Secretary of Veterans Affairs, everyone just digs in on that one. That could be fucking amazing. Nick is everything all the time. Binder. Trout could be HUD because Trout's a carpenter. He actually knows how to build a house. Yeah. Trout would be that. He could also be Secretary of the Interior because he says he's a cool jacked werewolf and they run around in the woods. So that's also a possibility, but I think HUD Secretary is probably on par with that. We're coming up with the most fucked up yet amazing cabinet. I swear to God. Brandon does not have a choice. He cannot. Actually, I don't think he can run in 2029. He's too young. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about the Israel bombing Iran, and I'm not taking any questions because you're all a bunch of fucking idiots. I would pay money for that, actually. It's funny they all get like they all get confirmed in their roles, but they do all the other shit, and so nobody actually knows who's doing what. It'd be fucking hilarious. Of course, we could also make Brandon Secretary of Defense because he is a war hero. Brandon, thank you for your service, sir. I swear to God, if any of the guys tune into this shit, they're gonna shut the fuck up, Tom. Yeah, okay, whatever. Oh, this is great. Oh, no way. So, someone commented where I made a dig at that fake ass video. Demo gets ATF. Yeah, that'd be cool. But that fake ass F-35 being shot down, that's Arma 3. That's Arma 3. It's the same shit Hassan thought was real. Now, I mean, I didn't know it was Arma 3. I did not know it was Arma, but I knew it was fake. Hassan probably thinking that shit's legit right now. Hold on, I gotta just basically told my buddy I knew it was fake, but it's Arma 3. That's hilarious because we just saw a dunk on Hassan Piker about thinking an Arma clip was legit on my live stream. Then we watch this and call it fake. Too fucking funny. Oh geez, that's God, that's comedy gold, man. Yes, the Force Valor. JD the bot guy did that. I was talking to him about it earlier on Twitter because I didn't realize that was him. Because it's funny because they talked about it on habitually, or not habitually, but on kind of consensual, and they're talking about the Force Valor .com. It's got all kinds of stories about yes, 3-time Medal of Honor war hero Brandon Herrera. Yeah, most of them are. I think all the unsub guys, Rich and Ethan, are there, and I'm not sure who else. But you know, I'm actually looking forward to seeing that episode because they're talking about the chief, and I think it's the Army Chief of Staff is going to be on there. And he was like, they're the only ones that are going to treat me like a real person. And yeah, that's how they're going to do it. But yeah, that web JD the bot guy who's part of this community too. He won. He had the highest bid on the communism tennis shoes, and so it came up on unsubscribe about that, and he did the Force Valor, so he got mentioned in both of the podcasts that came out today, or two of the podcasts because Underwhelming came out today too. That one's got Nick's dad on it. If you guys haven't seen that yet, check it out. I don't think I've finished it. Yeah, I'm about like halfway through it. But y'all, Nick's dad was a naughty boy. Like a naughty boy. It's goddamn Heisenberg. Not quite, but not far from it either. Holy shit. Apparently, Nick's dad threw shade at JD DeLay because they were talking and comparing their criminal resumes. And JD was like, how did you not do time in state prison? And Nick's dad is like, I was just a better criminal than you. Oh, that shit's hilarious to me, man. God. I love that JD doesn't like try to downplay his history. Like he doesn't excuse it, but it is who he is. But man, Nick's dad threw that shade. It was fucking great. You guys have got to watch it. Unsub is good. Unsub is good. They've got God, what's the guy's name? Jake Daddy or something like that. Does some funny ass videos. I'd seen some of his. It's actually a pretty interesting one. It's funny like it usually is. These guys are just funny. But it's definitely worth it. Yeah. In Kind of Consensual, they were talking about wanting to take JD to do SEER training and see him try to evade in the woods. And I would pay money to watch that shit. Of course, if they put it on Pepper Box, I will have paid money for that shit. And then they were like, why is there a pile of clothes sitting here in the middle of the woods? I think it'd be funny. And I think JD'd be down for it. I think, that's the kind of the vibe I get. I think he'd find it funny as shit. And I'd be down. I'd be down to watch that shit all day. Just live stream that shit like it's the Truman Show or EdTV, where you could watch all of it all the time. Just like cut away when they go to take a shit or something. But that would be funny as hell. They're talking about doing different military training as content. And dude, the army is being smart. Working with those guys. As a Navy vet, I'm sitting here going, Navy should be doing this shit too. They should be reaching out to Donut. They should be reaching out to him and doing something similar because of that. No, I usually don't catch his lives just because of scheduling. I watch I do watch his videos and a lot of his shorts and things like that. I usually don't get a chance to catch his lives. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You get a bunch of vets sitting around drinking and BS, and you get something kind of like that. When I worked at the Marine base here in town, you had a bunch of us that were, we were vets, and we hung out and we would drink and, just kind of bullshit. And unfortunately, my son thought this was the normal way to interact with people. And it's really not. Some people just cannot really handle that. Right? This would be glorious. This would be so glorious. I really sincerely would love to see that happen. It would be amazing. I'd really like to see them get like guys like him doing stuff. And I don't mean just JD, but like other creators who maybe don't have that type of experience, maybe not military, either not military experience, or you get like a guy like me who was Navy, and stuff like that. Oh, you did? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. JD, I love JD's content, man. He and I have similar missions in a lot of ways when it comes to kids. We're in complete agreement, even though we're coming from slightly different origin points. But the wood chipper thing is, this is the way. That's all I got to say. This is the way. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the back end here a little bit. See what all I can do. I'm still experimenting with some shit. Oh, goody. But no, I mean, it looks like what they're trying to do is do a lot of really cool stuff. Nick was talking about wanting to the last Unsober, they were talking about like the Chevy Colorado and how it's like being modified for the DoD at a much cheaper cost compared to the Humvee, but for faster, more mobility, better comfort, all that stuff. And apparently Nick is going to get to go to a range to drive one. And he wants to buy one. And if I get to the point that I want to buy one too. I really want to buy one because they look dope. They really look dope. The hell we got here? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, buddy of mine. He's a veteran. Peter Nealon. He's like 99% certain on that being from Arma 3. The lighting, the shockwave of the explosion, the architecture all looks very Arma, and I'm pretty sure that aircraft is the fictional TO-201 Shikra. Yeah, there's another picture of a Israeli F-35 fighter jet shot down by the Iranian army today that looks even faker. Let's see. My daughter could make a more believable image with magic markers. Yeah, it's for the record, Pete Nealon is a former recon Marine turned author. So he's someone you probably want to, if you like reading military fiction, I've read some of his stuff. It's legitimately good. So check that out if you get a chance. Let's see, where the hell's my tab? Oh, there's my tab. Wood chipper. Yes. Wood chippers are the ultimate justice. I have one problem with wood chippers for pedos. All right. I have one issue with them, and I think it's over too fast for them. I try very hard to be a good man. I try very hard. My natural inclination, if I ever let it go, is to be a very, very bad man. But I would be a very, very bad man to very, very bad people. And yes, people who do stuff to kids, they're the worst. You know, when people talk about murder being one of the worst crimes you can commit, there's times I can actually see it. I can make that argument that it's not always terrible. But when you hurt a kid, you're scum. You're absolute shit. I have no use for you. May you burn in hell. But that's just me. Well, shit. I had some. Let's see. Did I get a gift sub? Is that what happened? So if somebody asked if I'd support nuclear power, I did not get it from Kick. I do not know what's happening. You know, Cougars Ring. Do I support nuclear energy? Abso-fucking-lutely. I'm absolute support nuclear energy. If you want anything green, that's the only thing that's viable right now. Without remorse, yeah. Clancy was a master. It's just the only way to put it. I do not know why Kick's chat is not coming through. I doubt he's going to actually ever see it, but you know, I don't want anyone to think I'm being a dumbass, being vile or something. But yeah, this is you know, it I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Kick, because I don't see anything from. Let me see. Was there anything on Rumble? you know. Well, Rumble isn't fucking working. So, which is funny because I'm actually using the Rumble Studio. And of course, Rumble says I've got 2. So I'm like, what the hell? Well, no, now it's saying there's some, but there's no chat. Okay, that's fine. That's just fucking weird. Okay, well, if anybody's got any questions, I am fair game. We've only got a few minutes left before I'm going to need to wrap this up and try to get my wangs, which, you know, saying it that way sounds dirty. So sorry about that. But if you got, y'all got any thoughts, comments, concerns, questions? Yeah, apparently they were, whoever was trying to sell that was using a fictional plane instead of an actual F-35 that's in the game. That's fucking funny. That's absolutely fucking hilarious. So for the record, guys, I do this because I enjoy it, but, you know, I am trying to build a community here. So if you are not already subscribed on whatever platform you're on, please take a moment and subscribe. Like it. You know, like the live stream. You know, leave comments after, you know, later on if you want. I don't fucking know. Share it if you want. A lot of the Discords out there, I can't share it because no self-promotion. If someone else shares it, that's a little different. Hope we don't have to get proportional again. That's true. Last time we got proportional, it did not work out very well for them, did it? My favorite dinosaur is an ankylosaur. That's the one that's like the turtle with a mace tail. That's I've always loved that one. There are other dinos that I love, but that's my favorite. And yes, I can recall it off the top of my head because I am probably autistic, and this is just what we do. But yeah. But again, you know, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so because I need the traffic. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, go to YouTube, check it out. I'm proud of it, even if nobody else has actually bothered to watch it. It's just sad. It's just sad. It's a lonely little thing. It's a 10 of 10 on the back end, and that's ugly. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad for the video, like it's sentient or something. But yeah. So anything else? Anyone got anything else? More than happy to talk for a few more minutes before we wrap it up. Awesome. Autists of the world unite. Oh, man. This has been fun. I'm not going to lie. This has been a blast. Again, next time I'm probably going to get some shorter videos, though, because that got kind of got away from us a smidge. Just a smidge there. Crap. Okay. My freaking mouse, the battery is being weird on me. Okay, you guys want to see cute? We're gonna see cute. This is my son and our oldest cat, Artemis. She does that. She just gets up in people's face, and she'll like get up real close and then just love up on you and everything. And you know, she's like, that's actually how we ended up adopting her, because she's just decided to adopt me out on a walk one day and just showed up again the next day, and it was clear no one was taking care of her, so we got a cat. Well, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. I'm still learning a lot of this. There's a lot of flow to it. I cannot even begin to understand how some of these guys can keep up with their chats. But this is working out really well for me. And I guess as it builds, you kind of learn. But I've been having a blast. You guys are great. You guys are giving me enough to work with, so I'm not just sitting here. But College Fix report and teachers union may have funded some of the anti-ICE rallies. That does surprise me. Randy Weingarten is knee deep in some of this shit, and she is the president of the American Federation of Teachers. So that does not shock me in the least. It's bullshit. Oh, Fox even. Okay. Well, when you said Fix, there's a website called the College Fix that covers educational topics from a right-leaning perspective. So I thought that's who you're talking about. But Fox also makes sense. The fact that some of the teachers' unions are funding this doesn't shock me, though. They keep getting involved in a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with education because they are nothing but a leftist apparatus. It's why I do not like the teachers' unions. A lot of the unions actually sided with Trump, so I doubt they're part of this shit. Unless it's legitimately they're worried about some of their members who happen to be illegals, but that I doubt that's even a thing. So it doesn't surprise me. And honestly, if they find the funding, these entities need to be fully investigated. If they broke any law in the process, if there's a law they can hit them with, hit them. I'm sick of seeing this shit happen and then pretending like they're the good guys. Oh no, yeah, they burned 5 square blocks of Los Angeles to the ground, but hey, it was for a good cause. No, it's not. Fair. I honestly, guys, I don't do this shit on my phone. I do a lot of stuff with my phone, but I actually I say I don't do this shit, but I use Messenger and I tweet all the time with it, so I guess I do. It can happen. I fucking hate it. But yeah, Rico, probably Rico. There's probably a Rico case there. And I hope they go after him. I really do, because I'm sick of this shit. Make him justify it. Make him have to defend it. I'm just goddamn sick of it. So, all right. Well, we have hit the 3-hour mark. I will point out, I can now get gift subscriptions on Kick. So I can now get money from any of the platforms you might be watching me on, donations. So if you're so inclined and have the means, please consider doing so, because it will help me upgrade this setup that is basic. I had to make a change and it threw everything out of whack, and I'm not happy at all. So at least consider it. If you're not able to, that's fine too. Being here, being part of this is huge support, and I am not disappointed in the least. You guys are freaking amazing. Best damn audience in the fucking world. Thank you all so much. I am going to wrap it up. I will have a video out Sunday, and we will be back here Wednesday at 4. I understand that not every, or yeah. Was it going to do? Did I do 4? I think I did 4. I'll have it in the community. I'll also put it on Twitter. And you have an amazing rest of your night. I will see you guys later. Y'all don't do anything I wouldn't do.